Hello everybody, so this is gonna look like a video I've made before. Here we go again. HIMS is down 15%, and this time it's for news which for once actually impacts HIMS. And so kudos to the market for figuring out that HIMS actually sells semaglutide. The FDA updated its websites this morning saying that semaglutide, made by Novo Nordisk, Denmark company, right, owner of Greenland, it's Denmark. So that's why I think there's going to be some tariff things going on, and we'll see how that goes. But this company, the FDA say it's not in shortage anymore. There's not semaglutide in shortage anymore. Now, this is a debate. In my view, there's going to be a lawsuit about this, and because the OFA is just going to fight this, just like they fought it for Tirzepatide. And you may remember on 4 weeks ago, I made a video about Tirzepatide news where the FDA said that they would still allow Tirzepatide to be sold while the OFA versus FDA lawsuit was going on. And you may also remember that HIMS, that was 3 months ago, HIMS dropped quite a bit, same on fears about Tirzepatide. So this stock reacts tremendously to any news related to GLP-1s, even though as of the last quarter, we don't have Q4 yet, but as of Q3, this is still 10% of revenue. Yet the stock reacts insanely to any news based on GLP-1. That's why the stock is down 15% today. We knew this was coming, folks. We knew this could come at any time. It just happened to have come today. Hopefully nobody at the FDA used this information to do any trades or anything like that. Hopefully, because the stock is way down. But anyways, the point is the end of semaglutide impacts him this time. And I'm surprised to actually see that the HIM stock is down less. If you go back, it's down less than when the Tirzepatide shortage ended. And Tirzepatide, of course, is a drug that HIMS never sold. In order to know what's going to happen to HIMS, we need to see what happened to Tirzepatide. So Tirzepatide, the highest level GLP-1 approved, the Eli Lilly drug made in the USA. So Tirzepatide at shortage ended about 6 months ago. The shortage for Tirzepatide ended about 6 months ago, at which point the FDA released an official date where compounders had to stop manufacturing. And that date could be anywhere between 3 to 6 months. And so that date was published. But when that date came, you had the OFA, the Outsourcing Facilities Association, the Compounders Association for Pharmacies, that sued the FDA, saying Tirzepatide is still a shortage. There's still a major shortage in Tirzepatide. The shortage is still real. And of course, how do they do that? The lawyers, they do their studies, they go to pharmacies, typically in the country, typically in the middle of the US, and you look at it and you notarize it, you say, hey, look, it's not available here, it's not available there, and it's not available there, and you make a shortage like that. And that's how you prove that there is still a shortage, and there is a lawsuit going on. And then the FDA came out recently under the new administration and said, okay, well, as long as the lawsuit is going on, we're not going to enforce against Tirzepatide compounders during the lawsuit. We are not going to enforce against Tirzepatide compounders. And lawsuits could last years. I mean, sure, some of them get resolved in 9 months, but more likely lawsuits last years. And so right now, they can sell Tirzepatide as long as the lawsuit is still going on. So what do you think will happen to HIMS? Do you think the OFA, the Outsourcing Facilities Association, won't sue? Of course they will sue. There's many more manufacturers of Ozempic, semaglutide, right? The commercial name is Ozempic. There's many more manufacturers of compounded Ozempic than there are of Tirzepatide. So in my view, of course, they will sue. And I think the same fate will happen to semaglutide as it did for Tirzepatide, which is, first of all, they can still sell until the FDA publishes a date. By the time the FDA publishes a date to stop compounders to stop selling semaglutide for compounders, by the time that date is released, a lawsuit by the OFA will likely have already been filed. And when that lawsuit will be filed, it's very likely that they will also hold on enforcement. The FDA will likely also hold on enforcement at the risk of being called capricious, because why would you hold enforcement for Tirzepatide and why would you not hold enforcement for semaglutide? At this point too, it's almost a good thing to wonder whether HIMS shouldn't just manufacture Tirzepatide, because Tirzepatide, we know right now, I mean, they might not be grandfathered in, I don't know the details, but they could potentially do that. Anyways, all of this is not really that relevant to the long-term story of HIMS, to the disruption of healthcare, to the vertically integrated healthcare company money. Remember the good news we had 2 days ago about blood tests. Remember the good news we had about menopause, about HRT, about all of these markets. Weight loss is a big market. It's hot right now in Wall Street, but it's not the main markets. That's point number one. Point number two, GLP-1s is not dead for him because of Victoza. Victoza is the generic GLP-1. Sure, it's once daily. Sure, there are some studies that say it's not as good. Some people, if they can only get Victoza, maybe the provider at HIMSS will say, well, you know what? You can only get Victoza. I think for you it's better to get on metformin. Metformin is a prediabetes drug that has weight loss as a side effect. Maybe the provider may orient them towards the pill as opposed to orient them towards the generic GLP-1. But there is a generic GLP-1, and I doubt that the user is making that deep of a distinction. Well, some power users maybe, but I doubt that the average user is making that deep of a distinction between Tirzepatide, semaglutide, and, Victoza, which is the generic, which is liraglutide. Liraglutide is the name of the molecule for Victoza. Victoza is the commercial name. So it's still a GLP-1. Victoza is still liraglutide, or Victoza is still going to be off patent, and HIMSS will be making it. And they are making big moves towards manufacturing it. And this is where the good news, this is bad timing for HIMSS releasing this. They released this just before the FDA announced the end of a shortage. But yeah, they acquired a US-based peptide manufacturing facility, and they released a page called hims.com/made-in-USA, where they show the beautiful, fancy facility and, making a safe manufacturing of GLP-1s. Because if you follow the field of GLP-1, you may know that these synthesizers are sold on Alibaba, and people buy them from Alibaba or AliExpress, and they make their own peptides. And sometimes they make retatrutide, and retatrutide is not even approved by the FDA yet. It's the next-gen peptide that is supposed to come right after Tirzepatide. It's not yet approved by the FDA, but you have people who spend $2,000 just manufacturing their own peptides. And so that's why quality and safety is also so important. This is a public health issue, the compounder's issue, because when people can't afford to pay $2,000 a month for Tirzepatide or semaglutide, and they want to lose weight because it's so essential to their life, they will find a way. And some people make it at home. I know it sounds crazy, but they do. And so that's why safe sourcing is important. That's why I think if and when, and I think it will be when, if and when there is a lawsuit, I think there will be a hold until the FDA enforces, of course, the end of the shortage and the end of compounding. But there needs to be no shortage for real. There needs to be no shortage for real. And I would bet a lot of people are going to sue, maybe not just the OFA, because semaglutide is such a bigger, more established drug than even Tirzepatide. It's the original blockbuster GLP-1. So anyways, this was not investment advice, not health advice, not manufacturing advice, not financial advice, no shopping advice, no advice of any sort. This is just entertainment and no financial advice. Thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe, follow me on Patreon, follow me on X, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.